Hey everyone, welcome to class today. Today we're going to look at some stretches that have been known to relieve some sciatica pain. So if that is something you struggle with, make sure you obviously speak to your doctor or physio and just check if stretching and yoga is okay with them. If it is, we're going to be addressing the piriformis a little bit. So if that is linked to your sciatica pain, then hopefully some of these help. What I will say is this isn't a one size fits all kind of thing. So just go easy and see if it relieves your pain. And pushing into it isn't always necessarily the best thing to do. So if this is your first couple of times doing this class, just go easy, and then if you feel good afterwards or tomorrow, then maybe try a little more the next day, but don't push too much. We are going to be strengthening and stretching as well. So just go easy and see how you feel, and hopefully you feel good after. If you do, just drop in the comments and let me know how you feel. It's always nice to know that I'm helping people. Okay, thanks. So we'll start off on all fours. Okay, I'm going into this cold as well, so we'll just get a little bit of movement to begin with. Just starting with some cat cows. Just getting a bit of movement in the back, moving the hips a bit and the shoulders just to wake up. Maybe this is first thing in the morning or in the evening. Always nice to move. Okay, so right now, if you just come back to a flat back, right now my hips are square to my shoulders. We're going to readdress that in a second because potentially one hip or one side is going to come up, and we want to just make sure that they're square to our shoulders. So that's what I mean when I say that. So just start off straightening your back leg behind you, and I don't want you to go further than, like lift it further than your back. I want you to keep it nice and straight out. And all we're going to do here is, so I've got my right leg pointing out, I'm going to try and point my toes to the right without lifting my hips up. So try and keep your hips square, as I said, and just move the toes out to your right. And we'll just do 3 and come back down. Okay, let's do the other side now. So left leg's going to straighten out, and then point your toes out to the left, then back down. 2 more. And then back down. Okay, come back. We'll just do a cat-cow or 2, or any natural movements you find from there. We'll just do the right leg back again, nice and straight, then out, back down. 2 more. Knee back down. Let's go to the left. 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay, come back. Set your hands a little further in front. Tuck your toes under and then lift your hips. Keep your knees nice and bent here into down dog. Try and think of a straight back as always. Instead of straightening your legs and getting a curve in your back, let your head hang. And just take a couple of breaths in down dog. I always feel my chest open first time I do down dog. Everything else feeling really good. Okay, so we'll walk the dog now. So drop one heel lightly, bend the opposite knee, and just go from side to side here. Try and not move too much in the hips. Try and think about getting that movement in your legs and kind of feeling your hamstrings open up a little bit here. As always, slowing that breath down. Okay, what I want you to do now is just come forwards to a plank position and then step your left foot outside your left little finger here. And if this is a lot for you, you can drop to your back knee as well and flatten out the back foot, or keep that back leg nice and straight here. Then bring your left hand, so the same side of the leg that you've got out, to your left knee, and then just open that knee out to the side and think about opening your chest here and pushing that knee away. Again, nothing too intense if this is your first time doing this, just see how that feels. And if you are down on that back knee, should look like this. Nice and proud chest. I'm not collapsing here. Just breathing wherever you are. Okay, left hand back down, step back to plank, and now we'll bend the knees and lift the hips into down dog again. Just 2 breaths here. Good. Now let's go for the right hand side. So back to plank, right foot steps outside the right hand. Again, if you want to drop to that back knee, drop to that back knee, or keep the back leg nice and straight. Right hand pushes the right knee out, opening the chest as well. Maybe drop your hips a little more, maybe not. Okay, right hand comes back down, step back to plank, bend the knees and lift the hips. Okay, let's go one more time with that left hand side. Opening out, okay, and maybe drop to that back knee, again if you want. All I'm going to do now is with my left hand, I'm just going to bring that up towards the ceiling. Then I'm going to bring that down to where I had it in plank, then up and down. And we'll just do that one more time, stretching up. Good, and back down. Okay, step back to plank, bend the knees, lift the hips. Slow the breath. I know it's a lot to think about breath and what you're moving or activating, so it's always nice when you get back to dog or somewhere, let's go right side, somewhere you're comfortable with, just to think about your breath again. So let's go right hand, right knee, open out, and then the right hand's going to point up and down, up and down. Let's go up again and down. Good. Instead of going back to dog now, come back to all fours. I'm just going to turn so you can see what I'm doing. Sit your hips back, your for the lower back, just open a little bit here. You can open the knees out a bit more if you're more comfortable there. At the moment, my spine and everything is straight here. My shoulders and my hips are in line. What we're going to do is we're going to come back up to all fours. Now I'm going to walk my hands out and over to the left a little bit. So they're almost, I've opened my knees, they're almost pointing in the same direction as my left knee. Then I'm going to sit back and we're going to feel a really good stretch in the right hand side. Almost like I'm driving my right shoulder away from my right hip and just opening out here. Okay, let's come back up out of that super slow, back into the middle. Let's walk the hands away again, and then we'll go over to the right and sitting back. Let's stretch out the left side, so left shoulder away from the left hip, opening out the sides, or side, and breathe. Anytime you're doing anything like this, make sure you come back to that slow breath and you're not straining or holding your breath. It makes it so much more tolerable if you're breathing and kind of relaxing into stretches like this than straining and tiring yourself out in pain and agony. Okay, let's come back up to all fours and then just tuck your feet through, sitting down on the mat and then lay down on your back. It's a very loud mat under me. I'm just going to scoot over. Okay, so come up with both knees. Think about a straight back on the mat here, okay? So if I bring my knees up this way, my lower back comes off the mat. That's not what I want. I want to be hinging at the hips. So just really lower everything down. Grab your knees and bring them up. And make sure you're hinging at the hips. Doesn't matter if you don't go as far, that's fine. And just open the knees out, almost like you're trying to drop them into your armpits. And breathe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my right knee with both hands, and that is just above my hip. All right, that's not out to the side now, it's just above my hip. I'm going to drop my left foot to the floor and drag that away now with my left toes pointing up towards the ceiling. So I'm not opening my foot out. My left toes are pointing up, and I'm just bringing my right knee up towards my chest here. And just a few breaths here before we move. Now my right knee is going to be in my left hand, and I'm just going to bring that over to the side, so over to the left side slightly, just over my midsection. I'm not going much further. See how that feels. Again, we're not pulling into this too much. You can put it a little more maybe, but I wouldn't be like trying to get a super intense stretch. Okay, just bringing that over for now and see how that is where you're moving it. Really good. Okay, let go of that. Bring your right heel on the floor, then the left knee's coming up. I'm going to hug my left knee over the hip now, and now my right heel's going to go away. I'm going to point my toes up towards the ceiling of the right foot. Breathe in here. This is a really nice hip opener as well. Gets everything ready. It's not nice to stretch. Prepare for those over underpasses as well. When people are really opening you out with that kind of thing, it's always nice to be stretched and ready. Okay, left knee in the right hand. Bring your left knee into the midsection now, or just above the midsection. Maybe feel a stretch, kind of outer hip area. Again, nothing crazy. It's not what we're going for today. Awesome, let's ease off that. Sit yourself up. Now we'll do some seated twists. So we'll go through kind of levels of how we're going to do this. So bring your left knee up. I want you to think about a straight spine here. I'm not just chilling like this. Nice and straight spine. Now, all I'm going to think about is my left knee's up. So my left hand is going to go back behind me, and I'm thinking about opening my left shoulder out as I open to the left. At the moment, I don't really have much pressure on my left knee. I want you to just think about maybe putting into that slightly, just a little bit, to open the chest out to the left a bit more, and really think about not collapsing here and opening out. See how that feels. If you can feel any pain, ease off, maybe a little less pressure on the knee. If you want a little more here, you can bring your right elbow outside the left knee, keep your right hand up and twist a little further, maybe. If that's too much, you can ease off and you can keep the hand on the knee. Okay, think about though, pushing your left knee into your right hand as well. So I'm not just pulling with my right hand against the knee. I've got a tiny bit of pressure on my left knee into that right hand. Tiny bit of pressure. And see if that's all right. Again, if you've got round to here, okay, you can put a bit of pressure into the elbow and just see what that's doing, how that feels. Again, if first time doing it, don't go nuts. Okay, let's ease off whatever variation we've got there. Now, if you want a little more, we're going to do either the same stretch or a level up from that. So bring your left foot over to the other side of the right leg now. So you've got a bit more kind of twist in the leg, but I don't want you, when you're doing this, for your hip to come off the mat. I want you to keep your hips on the mat here. And again, it's almost like we're hinging at the hip, okay? Now, same thing, so start with your right hand on the left knee, left hand goes back, just lightly in the mat. I'm not like leaning back here. Just open out to the left and then a little bit of pressure in that left knee into your right hand. And again, breathe. That pressure doesn't need to be really intense. A lot of the time we think the harder we do something, the harder we stretch, or the more we push into it, the better we're gonna, the better the result. But that's not always the case, especially with this kind of thing. Okay, ease off whatever you're doing there. Let's come back to straight legs, maybe have a little wiggle and move about here. Nice, now bring the right foot up again. Now we're going to go for the other side. So left hand on the right knee, right hand goes back, opening out the chest here, and then think about that pressure in the left hand and the right knee. Again, I'm not lifting my hips off the mat, nice and square, and breathe. If you want to bring the elbow round as well into more of a twist, you can. I'll leave that up to you. I would say if it's your first few times or first couple of times doing this, then don't do that. Another breath here. Ease off whatever you're doing. And now we're going to think about the right foot coming over the left leg. And now we'll do the same thing, reaching round. If that's too much for you, go back a step. What I find with this pose as well, if you have long legs, getting them up here, I find everything gets in the way and I'm falling back a bit. So if you do have longer legs, if the foot is a little further away, it's a little bit easier and less of an angle up here as well, obviously. Good, just 2 more breaths, whatever you're doing here. Good, okay. So now we'll come to a seated position. I'll just twist so you can see what I'm doing. And I want you to think about crossing your legs here. Okay, now try and, almost like if someone was looking directly down on you, try and get your shins parallel here. Okay, if you're super tight in the hips, this might look something like this, or if sitting with crossed legs is enough of a stretch for you, sit cross-legged until you open your hips out a little more. If not, I'm bringing my right heel onto my left knee, and I'm just like this again, almost like your shins are parallel if someone was looking above us. All I want you to do now is just try and breathe a few times and relax and see if this knee can start to drop. We're not pushing down on the knee or putting any unnecessary pressure on here. Okay, and just breathe. Good, see how low that can go. And now, wherever you are here, either put your hands either side of the feet or in front of the shins. Okay, if you're up high here, obviously go either side. And now just think about hinging at the hips slightly forwards. Nothing crazy, and seeing how that feels. Come back up. And then we'll go back down, and we'll just do that once more after this. Obviously I'm getting that knee down to the foot, but that's fine. I've worked a lot of hip mobility here. If you're not there, you might be up here and just leaning forward like that. That's fine, that's you. Just keep doing what you do. Good, let's come back up. Okay, feet out, we'll just wiggle a bit and then we'll go the other side. Okay, so we were on left bottom, right top. So this time we're gonna go right on the bottom, left on top. This is gonna feel different as well. So left ankle on the right knee, and we'll start off here and just a few breaths sitting up tall. Okay, now hands either side or in front, and then think about coming forward super slow and back up. Coming forwards and back up and forwards again. Good, see how that feels. Let's come back up. It's not all about just first day, just like folding yourself up and then tomorrow not feeling good about yourself. I want people to feel good after this and hopefully relieve some pain. So we want to go easy, and then the more and more you do it, hopefully you'll progress and you'll feel yourself starting to feel better and progressing. Okay, so now lay yourself down on your back and we'll go for just a lying twist here. And again, we're not going crazy. So all we're doing here is straighten out the left leg. Don't worry too much about what the toes are doing here. Okay, now just bring the left knee up, sorry, the right knee up into your left hand. And now we're going to turn to our left side, so slow yourself down. Good, so I'm facing the left, I've got my right knee up. Now my right hand is going to reach forwards here, and it's going to point up to the ceiling, and I'm opening that behind me. I don't want you to be really forcing yourself into this stretch. Obviously, at the moment, my right shoulder is off the mat. Okay, if I put my right shoulder on the mat, my right knee comes up, all right? I'm not forcing both down at the same time. I'm just breathing here, and you can look over to the right as well. This is just a nice passive stretch. We're not forcing this one. And you'll probably feel like you're in someone's horrible side control here. I always think that when I'm in this pose. Okay, right hand points up to the ceiling, back onto your left. Now just push yourself onto your back again. We'll go for the other side now. Again, it's going to feel different. So straighten the right leg, left knee up towards the ceiling. Now, left knee in your right hand, turn onto your right side, facing the right. Left hand creeps forwards a little bit, points up to the ceiling, and then open out to your left side. Looking over to your left, just breathing into this. Good, turning back to your right hand side. Push yourself onto your backs now. And then bring both knees up. Rest the insides of your knees together. Don't have your feet too wide. Just about hip width so you can rest. Left hand just above your belly button on your stomach. Right hand on your chest. And just take a few deep breaths here. Breathing through the nose. Exhale out. Back in through the nose. And out. Let's do 3 more of them. So breathing in. And out. 2, in. And out. And 1, in. And out. Good job. Slowly sit yourself up. And that is all for this class. I really hope you enjoyed it. Again, let me know how you feel in the comments. Ask me any questions you need. And yeah, hopefully this helps you guys. Come back and do it tomorrow or give it a couple of days. I'll just say again, don't push into it too much. Make sure you've checked you're okay to do some yoga and some stretches and strengthening stuff. And hopefully we'll get you pain-free and on the mats. As I said, it's not one size fits all. So obviously check in with your doctor and physio, see if they're cool with it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.